And I discovered that it doesn't matter where you come from, there is basic human values that you can relate on wherever you go. And if you use these values in your movie, even though the situation are different than anywhere else, still people can relate themselves to our story because the values are the same. One of the important values that we all care about is harm of others. That you don't do to others what you don't want them to do to yourself. And for example, or honesty. People are very like, whatever you want, they love honesty. They don't like lying. Most of people, let's say, most of cultures. And all these things, if you, and for example, love also is a universal theme. Wherever you go, you have this attraction between man and woman, or between two lovers. Fighting injustice, wherever you go. If there been injustice that been done to you or to others, you want, especially movies, that you will stand and resist. The shoot was supposed to be in Jenin, in the West Bank, because we can't shoot in Gaza. To bring the kids from Jenin, to bring the kids from Gaza to Jenin was very difficult. At the end, just 2 days before start shooting, the Israeli Authority allowed the kids to go outside of Gaza. And we were very happy because now we know that we can make the movie with the kids from Gaza. It was bad, on the other hand, because we did not have the chance to do any kind of rehearsal with the kids before start shooting. And it was, actually you can see on the first days of shooting, their performance were less, let's say were not like less good than the end of the shoot. And the last days of the shoot, they become very professionals. I would love to shoot the movie in Gaza, but we can't in this situation. It's impossible to shoot in Gaza in this situation. The story happens in Gaza. Now you can't make a movie, okay, you shoot outside of Gaza, but at least you have to get actors from Gaza, at least the kids. Older actors we can't because it will be more difficult, but then I insist to get at least the kids from Gaza. Yes, I noticed immediately from these kids that they are different than other kids I know from the whole world. And I think their experience of being in two big wars, that they face death everywhere for a long time, they lost their fear. And I could, and by the way, when you lose your fear, you live better. Like you could see they become more adult than other kids. They can have a conversation with you as an adult, and I was amazed by their wisdom. I was amazed by their braveness. They were very brave, like to do what normal kids couldn't dare to do. And again, I think because when you lose your fear, you live better. You can enjoy life even better, because I think the psychology of that is that most of people are afraid to lose their life. But when you know you can lose your life any second, you enjoy the moment better. You can like really think any moment I'm getting more from this life is just a win. Working in Palestine is not easy for me. I am almost at the end of every movie, I swear that I'm not going to direct a movie anymore. It's very tough because surprising everywhere, tension everywhere, unprofessionality everywhere. People don't understand that this is a serious business. They think because the film is entertainment, they think our job is also entertainment, and they don't understand our job is even more serious than a military operation. And it's not easy to work in these kind of environments. You become very exhausted. In the United States, in Europe, it's easier to be a director. You can like really relax and tell what you want, and they will do it for you. But here, you have to run, and you have to carry, and you have to sleep on the ground, and you have to eat on the car in the cold and in the winter. When we had this dinner on the beach, like you had lunch when it was like very windy and cold outside. It's not luxury, let's say. You don't enjoy the food because you are very, cold and tired, and then you have to continue working also. It's not easy. Most of the decision makers in this movie are Palestinians. The head of production design, the head of the cinematography, Ihab, Nail, the head of the production design, Baher is the head of the execution, production execution. Decision makers are Palestinians. Some technical jobs like key grip, like gaffer, like focus puller, like first ED, being done by foreigners, Americans, French. Like the biggest fear to any director, I think, the fear of failing, to any human beings, that they might fail, they might not succeed to reach what they want in this project. And I have to be honest, I've lost my fear for failing. I don't mind to fail, but what I want is adventure. And when you are adventurous, you might fail because it's very difficult what I'm doing in this movie, which is making a very sentimental story. It's a very kind of sweet story combined with very harsh situation. I don't know if you can manage. It's not easy to connect these two unconnected elements.
Here was a story of a young guy, the lowest of the low, a refugee in Gaza, a taxi driver who had a dream and wanted to provide for his family, provide for those around him, and believe in something bigger than himself. This is a story that resonates across boundaries. It's a story that very much goes to the heart of what makes us human, what makes us different, is that you dare to look up and see the stars. And this story hopefully will let the audience look up and think that maybe one day I can get there. And despite what we see in the news, and despite some of the horrors which have been committed on our name, we wanted to get back to the humanity of it all, and to show that in the same way that a kid from Gaza can dare to dream and succeed, so could a kid from Ohio, or a kid from Moscow, or a kid from Beijing, or Barcelona. It's rare to have an opportunity when you can marry the perfect filmmaker to the perfect subject material, and we have that with Hani. Hani's a filmmaker, someone who I've been very close to for over a decade on a personal level. And I always wanted to make a film with him, and he was always my first choice. I actually waited for a year for him. He was actually busy with other projects, and the kind of gods worked in our favor, and actually stars aligned, and he became available. And he was also coincidentally in love with the story too, and he very much followed it and very much cried and laughed with everyone else and celebrated that kind of victorious moment. So when Hani said that he was available to do this, it was a no-brainer, because Hani's a filmmaker who, it's very rare to find a filmmaker who both understands narrative and understands excitement and tension, but also is able to imbue his work with heart and soul and emotion. And Handy is one of those rare filmmakers who can do that. He very much is about the emotion, about drawing in the audience, making them care about their characters, making them empathize and feel with them, and at the same time he creates a roller coaster, a journey for you that kind of propels you from start to end, so you don't know everything that's going to happen. There are twists and tales, and at the end we hope certainly a big elation with the feel-good moment. It was always very important for him to actually find kids from Gaza themselves, rather than simply Palestinian kids or Arab kids. He specifically wanted kids from Gaza so that their faces could tell the story in ways that words never could. Their looks, their experiences, their own emotions will give a natural depth to every scene they're in. And luckily we found these 4 miracle kids in Gaza, of course never acted before, and yet these 11-year-olds who were able to do more than we could ever imagine. Kais, who plays the young Muhammad Asaf, is just a miracle, his face, his demeanor, his mannerisms. But we also had the challenge of finding the grown-up Asaf, or at least the actor that personifies that character. Tawfiq Marhoum was someone who I was aware of. I'd seen his work. I was always very impressed with him, a very talented young man. And we spoke to him, and we were immediately taken by his passion, and his sensitivity, and his range, and his incredible eyes. Eyes would just drag you in, they're like magnets. And once you see him on camera, the camera loves him. He's a very internal actor. He's very minimal. He doesn't overact. He doesn't need to, because he has such power behind his eyes that they just drag you to the center of the screen. So they're able to have a character like that who has this amazing arc from this, kid with limited opportunities who yet dares to dream, and yet he has this incredible journey physically and emotionally. And you needed an actor that can transform that can transform himself from one thing to another. And Tawfiq has that. Tawfiq has that side of him that's playful. He has a side that's very serious. He has a side that can be quite physical and also quite fragile and vulnerable. So it's rare again to find in one actor so many different facets. Hani, it was very clear that he wanted to work with his team. And Hani has developed in Palestine an infrastructure of super talented filmmakers. From the DPs, to the line producers, to the costume, to the light, to the art. He has very much a local team. And it was a case of we never wanted to just simply bring in foreign crews, even though of course they're very talented foreign crews. We very much wanted it to be a Palestinian crew. And that's why 95% of the crew is Palestinian, if not more. And even in Jordan, we work with very much local crews now. At the top of that tree is you have Asad, the DP, who has known Hani for 20, 30 years. They've worked together in the same neighborhood. And Hani has seen him grow. As Hani has grown into a filmmaker of world stature, so as he has grown into a DP of the highest possible repute. He's a fantastic filmmaker, and he really has control over the movement. He's able to execute Hani's vision, which can be demanding. And yet you have almost second guesses and knows what Hani wants to do with the shot. He has this way, this control over the frame, the movement. It's this kind of, I used like to call it kind of controlled movement, whereby you're always moving slightly, but it's always maintained, it's in focus, it's tense. It's like a caged energy.
We are part of the producers of the movie, NBC. I run NBC channel, so we're involved in that way as well. And I guess my role as a judge on this movie is derived from my role in real life as a judge on Arab's Got Talent, another talent show, a sister or a brother or sister to Arab Idol, done by the same company. And I'm excited to be part of it.
How important are these shows to the Arab world, do you think? Like they're massively popular. And why do you think that is?
I think they are a very good vehicle for Arab culture to spread in a much more efficient way. These shows are international. They have been tested and proven true across the world. So for us, they are a very good product or vehicle to propagate Arab art, Arab culture, Arab cultural values, and also they are a very, very good product for us to train our production staff on really producing international level productions. we are thrilled to have Hani on board, an international director of that reputation, a twice nominated Oscar-nominated artist. I think he is like the best man there is to realize this dream of producing this kind of movie. Because this movie is not only a piece of art; it is going to be a big message from the Arab world to the rest of the world about us Arabs, about the true reality of the Arabs, of the underprivileged youngsters in the Arab world. They are not all criminals, or they're not all people who behead others. We are members of the humanity in general, members of the human community, and we are an active participant in the general culture of the world.
My name is Najib Labaki and I'm playing Shadia.
And can you explain to me kind of what Shadia's role is?
Shadia is actually a Lebanese TV producer, and when she meets Muhammad Assaf and sees him for the first time auditioning, she sort of has this instinctive hunch, that feeling that this guy might do something, or might get somewhere, and she has a connection with him, or I don't know, she feels like there's a story behind this guy. It's not just another talent with another great voice. She feels like he has something more.
Like everybody, I think that I like his films for the same reasons everybody likes his films, because he's sensitive. He tells stories from real life, and he's very much engaged in what he's saying, and it's not only about the story. There's something else behind it, and sometimes you feel like there's a whole nation expressing itself through him. I think he's a very interesting and important voice in the Middle East and in the whole region, and we're lucky to have directors like Hani Abu Asad making films and talking about the region in the way he does it.
بنفع يعني صوت واحد من فلسطين يطلع برا البلاد. أنا فكرت إنه مستحيل محمد عساف يفوز. شخصية شجاعة قائدة، منها أصغر وحدة في اليوم 10 سنين، يعني من الآخر حبيت شخصيتها. يعني بشبهه بيحكولي بشبهه، بس بالصوت لا طبعا. ما هم مش مصاري كانوا أهله، وهو برضو يعني كان محتاج بده، حتى إنه أخته كمان إنه زعلت إنه أخته كانت تشجعه ونفسها إنه نفسها تطلع برضو معاه وتغني معاه وطلعوا يعني، وبس ماتت يعني.
Muhammad Assaf, there's one, and you can't replace him. I can't act him, I can't imitate him, I can't do anything. I can try and deliver a Palestinian kid life in Palestine. That's what I can do. But the pressure is from a different aspect, from the aspect which we're talking about, which is Muhammad Assaf is a really big icon for Palestinians, and not only for the Arab world. And it's not easy. But bottom line, when I thought about it for days and days, and I was like, how am I gonna hold this thing? I said, I need to let it go, because you can't control everybody. You can't please everybody. You need to please the emotions in the picture. If you get the audience from a frame to frame till the end, you succeeded. He called me at, it was 11 p.m. and he was in the middle of a complicated shootings, and I was sensing that and hearing that. Hey, Tawfiq, come, are you coming? Come today. Okay, bye. And that's it. That was the yes, you know, because we didn't have much time. So that's the experience of getting this part. Maybe I'll realize it after the movie, but no, I didn't have much time. The script is written straightforward. And the only thing I needed to know from Hani and he needed to know from me, if we understood each other, if I understood what he wants to deliver. But the whole process was like really easy of preparation, because we can understand each other really fast. I mean, after even the shootings themselves, you can see me and Hani, like, it's a cut and we need to do it again. We both know that what is the mistakes, what we need now, which we didn't have from the previous take. So yeah, that's basically it. We were shoot and run, and I have to say we're really lucky, even with the childhood phase. I mean, those children didn't have permission to get in until 2 days before shootings. They haven't been trained. They haven't been taught anything. And all of a sudden, I'm coming to their shootings and seeing those gorgeous children acting so professionally, especially Hiba and Kais. We're fucking lucky.